In this video, we're gonna tell you everything that we've spent in the first 6 months of van life. Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. If you haven't watched our first video, I'm Dani.
And I'm Wade.
And we have two cats, Gatinha and Jon Snow, and they've been traveling with us around Australia in our self-converted camper van.
We are 7 months into our trip around Australia and we have travelled over 25,000 kilometres.
I'm an accountant. I love keeping track of everything that we spend, and I just use a normal spreadsheet on Excel. So today we're going to tell you everything that we spent in the first 6 months of van life.
Before jumping into the van, we wrote down all of our expenses and we thought we were going to be about $500 a week. We kind of quickly realised that we weren't going to stick to that budget. There was just things we hadn't thought of. Turns out it's a little bit more, and now we've broken down our categories into 12 categories and we're going to run through each one and then our overall budget at the very end of it.
So just before we get into the numbers, there are two things that I want to make it really clear. First one is that every number that we talk about in this video is in Australian dollars. And the second one is that we are going to talk about the total expenses for us. So that includes 2 adults and 2 cats.
Yep, you might, I don't know if you can see one here. At the end of this video, we're going to give you guys 3 tips that help us save money on the road, and let's get into it.
Let's start.
Let's do it.
Okay, so I'll start with food. Food was our biggest expense.
Super surprised with this one. I thought for sure diesel was going to be number 1 by like a long shot, especially with diesel prices these days.
True.
So, but turned out it's not.
Surprisingly, it was food.
Yeah.
But we do try to do grocery shopping as much as we can and eat in the van.
Yep.
And we try to eat healthy most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
So with food, we spent a total of $6,151 for the whole 6 months.
Yep.
And I've split this further into grocery shopping and eating out because this number includes both. So we spent $4,298 in supermarket shopping and $1,854 eating out. Per month, that's an average of $1,025 for 2 people and 2 cats, because this also includes the cat's food.
So let's talk about the diesel, which I thought was going to be number 1. Diesel was our second biggest expense.
Which makes sense because we traveled over 25,000 kilometers.
That's
so
true.
Even though it wasn't the first one, it is still a significant expense for us.
Yeah, it's massive. So our Sprinter weighs about 4 tons. I think it's just under 4 tons, which is pretty heavy, and we're getting around 11 litres per 100 kilometers, which I think is pretty efficient for a heavy car. We generally don't drive long distances. We do try to keep our trips pretty short for 2 reasons. One, for us, we're not like, I don't really want to be sitting in the car for hours and hours and hours. And for the cats, so we can get them out, stretch their legs. They're not sitting in the cars for hours and hours.
Yeah, we feel sorry for them.
One exception for that is when you're in Northern Territory, is that like the distance between the cities is massive, where you got to drive 4 hours, 3 hours from one place to the next. And it is what it is. But on the east coast and now down the bottom of Australia, where we travel half an hour to the next place.
There's just too much to see.
Yeah. Another thing was that the diesel can range from $2.60 to $3.20. So for example, in Northern Territory, I think it got up to close to $3.20. And in here on the east coast and the bottom of Australia, we're about $2.30, $2.20, give or take. So in terms of the actual cost for our 6 months on the road with diesel, we had $4,460, and that's an average of $743 per month on diesel.
So next we're going to talk about van maintenance, and that will obviously be very subjective to what kind of luck you have with your van.
Yeah.
We've been really lucky. We did spend a lot of money with van maintenance. I think that was the cost that pushed us over the $500 budget that we had a week. If it wasn't for this cost, we would probably be within the budget.
Yeah, but I think van maintenance was one of the things that we didn't budget for enough. It threw out our budget.
And another thing that I learned is that diesel services are a lot more expensive than petrol cars. So yeah, that got up there.
Yeah.
So we spent a total of $4,191 for the 6 months, which is about $698 per month.
But it's your home. You need it to be reliable. When it's in the middle of nowhere and you break down, you need to keep on top of these services and make sure your car is. So number 4 on our list is internet. Now internet was...
And phones.
And phones, yeah. So for 6 months we spent $996, which is about $166 per month. Now that includes about 510 gigs worth of data. We do have one phone on that plan at, what do you have that there?
$47 a month.
$47.
For the actual iPhone.
Also we have a Telstra SIM. So when you're traveling around Australia, you can't get Optus service everywhere. So we just got a prepaid Telstra SIM. and we top that up when we need to when we can't find Optus. It's just handy, but we've only used it
3 times.
yeah, 2 or 3 times in like North Queensland. If we take out the phone, it's going to be a monthly average of $119, which is, like we said before, it was 500 gigs of data. We've never come close to that. Oh, we have, probably. We use about 300.
Yep.
Depends how much Netflix you watch, really.
Next is our gym membership. Now, we've always paid for gym memberships,
Yep.
but before jumping in the van to travel around Australia, we actually signed up with Anytime Fitness. I think they have over 500
Yeah.
clubs around Australia, and they are 24/7, and they all of them have showers. So that gives us the flexibility of showering on the road
Yep.
and anytime we want, and also having a workout. And usually we go to the gym for the shower, but because we are there, we get a workout done, and then as a reward we get a shower.
It's good motivation to go
It
to
is.
the gym. You get a shower out of it. But we do have a shower in the van, but to wash Danny's hair, we don't have enough hot water for that. And it's just easier. And you get to go to the gym, you get to move.
And it's quite cheap because we pay $16.95 per person per week, and we have access to over 500 clubs around Australia, so
Yeah.
that's pretty handy. So in the 6 months, we've spent a total of $698, which is an average of $116 per month. Now, if you do the calculations, if you want to, you'll see that the $16.95 times the number of weeks that we've been on the road, it doesn't actually add up to this number. And the reason for that is because I think on the Northern Territory, or from Queensland to the Northern Territory,
Yeah, it was almost like Sunshine Coast up.
yeah, we saw that
hardly
there's
any
no
gyms, yeah.
Anytime Fitness gyms, so we just froze our membership.
So next we got activities and entertainment, and we spent $976 in the 6 months, so that is $163 per month. The amount of money that you spend on activities is very personalized, like depending on what activities you like to do, what you're interested in. We only do the things that we think we're going to have fun, we're interested in doing, and yeah, and that's what it is.
Okay, so next we're going to talk about alcohol. And this is always a touchy subject. We always share our monthly, or we used to share
Yeah.
our monthly expenses as a reels on Instagram. And every time we had alcohol, we always have a line for alcohol, but we would always get comments all like, you guys are too weak, you
Yeah.
don't spend enough on alcohol.
You need to drink more.
Yeah, and that's so subjective. Like,
It is.
you do whatever you want. We've never been heavy drinkers, so we don't spend much on alcohol, and that's quite good for us because it keeps our budget low.
It does. So what do we spend? $455
No,
is
445.
$445 in 6 months is pretty damn good, I reckon. Accommodation surprised me. It was.
It surprises everyone when we
It
talk
does,
about
yeah.
it.
So it was $317 in 6 months, which is insane.
That's $53 a month. That's nothing. People spend that in one. You can spend that one night in a cabin.
Yeah. We have stayed in a few caravan parks here and there. One for like Danny to wash her hair, or if we didn't feel too safe for sleeping on the streets in certain areas, or whatever the case might be. But overall, that's pretty damn good.
Yeah, we avoid having to pay for
Yeah.
accommodation. We don't see the value in it.
No.
But if we do have to pay for accommodation, we always go for cheap options.
Yeah.
Like, we've paid from $5 to $20, I think it
Yeah.
was max that we have paid
Look, we have seen some places where they want like $40, $60
for a patch of grass.
unpowered side, which is insane.
Yeah,
Like,
we don't pay for that.
yeah, that's not gonna happen.
Next is our laundry expenses, and what can I say?
Yeah.
This guy learned a lesson.
At the beginning, I think we were like at home where you could just do washing every week.
He thought he should wear a t-shirt once, and that was it. Like in the laundry basket.
Yeah,
it goes.
and then do some
But he
washing.
soon realized that was going to be way too much money for having to do washing every week. So he learned the lesson, and now we reuse clothes more than
Yeah,
once.
so now we do washing every like 2 weeks. We can
Yeah.
stretch it out to maybe 3 if we're lucky, depending on where we are, I think.
So in 6 months, we spent $155 in laundry, and that's an average of $26 per month. Now, we are finding the majority of places that we go to, they charge between $4 to $6
Yep.
for a normal wash, and then $7 to $9 for a big load, which fits like all of our clothes, sometimes sheets and towels.
Yeah, and big jumpers if it's cold. And
But then the other side is that we always need to pay for dryers because we don't have a place to dry our clothes. So for dryers, it's usually $1 for 5 minutes, and we usually need 30 to 40 minutes to dry everything that we're washing.
And finally is the miscellaneous category. Miscellaneous was just all the things that we didn't really fit into the other categories. It came in at $989 for the 6 months. It's just stuff that you don't really think about when you're on the road. Like you might want to buy some more clothes or whatever else, just things that didn't fit in the other category. And just keep in mind when you hit the road, there's definitely going to be things that you forget. There's going to be things that you can find on the road that you're like, oh, that's nice, and you end up buying it, and it is just normal life type stuff.
Yeah, so always have that buffer in your budget for that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, so this brings us to a total number of $19,379. We think that's pretty good, but it's definitely more than what we had budgeted for. Like we said, we budgeted for $500 a week.
Yeah, what's $500 a week would have been?
$2,000 a month.
Yeah.
But we actually spent on average $3,230 a month. So, or $807 a week. So that's a lot more than the $500 that we had in mind. But again, we did have that maintenance in the van that wasn't expected. And a few other bits and pieces, so always have that buffer for when you do your budget for hitting the road. And also, we after 2 or 3 weeks on the road that we noticed that we were spending more than $500 a week, we adjusted the budget.
We had to
and
change
now
it.
We aim for $700 a week.
And we've been getting much closer to the $700, slightly under sometimes, slightly over, but yeah, averaging out about $700. So now we're going to talk about the 3 tips that helped us while we've been traveling around Australia on the road. So the first one is Wikicamps, and this is the reason why our accommodation is so cheap, is that we use that, it's like our Bible. We go on there, they can find free camps, you can find really, really cheap camps. We find our dump stations on there, we find water, portable water, there's points of interest, day areas, literally everything on there. But the camping one is the biggest one with free camps.
And Wikicamps is a user-based app, so it relies on the community to leave reviews and add spots.
Yeah.
So we try to leave reviews as well for the places we go. So that's just a really, really helpful app. I think it's the Bible for everyone that we know that's on the road.
Everyone
so make sure you download
it.
it.
Yeah, I think it's about, not sure if it still is, but it was $8. Just a one-off download, one payment.
Tip number 2, there are 2 apps that we have recently started using to find cheap petrol, and that is Petrol Spy or Fuel Map Australia. So we've been using those a lot just to see where like the price of the diesel on different petrol stations, because we were shocked to see that the prices change a lot between town to town. So if we know we'll need diesel soon and in the next city the petrol is like 30 cents cheaper or something, we just stretch it and try to get from the cheaper place.
Or just fill up a little bit, but yeah, like 20 to 30 cents can really add up in a tank of fuel.
Yeah.
And then if you're constantly doing this and over a year, 6 months, however long you're traveling for,
Good savings.
Yeah, it will add up at the end of it. It's kind of same kind of tip, but is to have a jerry can. So when we do find cheap fuel, we usually fill up our jerry can as well, which gives us an extra 20 litres. And then it just kind of stretches us that if we can't find the cheap fuel again, we've kind of averaged out over the time of getting really, really cheap fuel.
And also this tip is really good, especially for when you travel in the outback of Australia, because the petrol stations are very far apart. So if you have any emergency, or if you have to go another way for some reason and drive more than what you originally thought, having a jerry can really save your life.
It can, and like if you wanted to fill up in Alice Springs where it's slightly cheaper, you can really fill up a lot more, because once you get into the outback areas,
There's nothing there.
There's nothing, and when you do find them, they're crazy expensive. Yeah. We hope this has given everyone an idea of how much it kind of costs to travel in a van in Australia. It was a question that we asked a lot of, like, how much money are we going to need for 6 months, for a year? So hopefully this can help anyone else.
And if you want to see more content from us, we try to upload 1 new video every Sunday at 5 p.m. here on YouTube. And
we're going to stick to this. It's not try. Every Sunday, 5 p.m. There's a new one.
And follow us on Instagram to see what we do on our day-to-day.
Yeah. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next video.